be a mentor, you don't have to have all the answers.
Interesting. You hungry?
Yeah.
You just have to be yourself, which, by the way, is pretty good. Do good. Mentor a child. Call 1-877-BE-A-MENTOR.
Hi, I'm Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Eileen Collins. It was a great thrill for me to be the first woman to pilot the space shuttle. But without a high school diploma, I would have never made it into space. Graduating from Elmira Free Academy prepared me for college and a career in the Air Force. And education means spectacular opportunities for you, too. So stay in school, graduate, and maybe I'll see you in the United States Air Force.
Do you have trouble understanding conversations in a crowded room? Or difficulty understanding soft speech, like a child's voice? Or does it seem like people are mumbling when they talk to you? If so, do what millions of people have already done. Call Miracle Ear for a valuable free information kit. When you call our toll-free number right now, you'll receive our free Hearing Loss and You videotape. It explains the common causes of hearing loss and what you can do about it. You'll also receive our informative booklet, Your Guide to Hearing Problems and Hearing Solutions. You'll get straightforward answers to common questions about hearing health. So why wait? Start enjoying life again. Call right now for your free video information kit only from Miracle Ear.
Now, from the TSM News Network, with live, local, and interactive news and information for the tri-state region, this is TSM News, live.
They're tired, hungry, and poor. They've been terrorized, traumatized, and mistreated. But today, more than 400 refugees from Kosovo are anxious to start a new life here in America. And good evening, I'm Janet Zapala.
And I'm Mark Davies, and this is TSM News. President Clinton has heard chilling stories of murder, rape, and terror from Kosovo refugees now in Germany. One woman says she gave birth at home because her son would have been killed if he had been born in a hospital. Others say they had to put dirt on their faces to avoid being raped by the Serbs. Meantime, the Kosovo refugees at Fort Dix say they're happy to call New Jersey home tonight. The 450 ethnic Albanians from that war-torn region are now receiving the medical and humanitarian care they've been missing for many months. TSM's Robbie Sinclair has more.
Fort Dix is now the temporary home for 400 ethnic Albanians. Their plane arrived at McGuire Air Force Base around 4:20 this afternoon. This is the first of many planes that will be transporting the refugees from Macedonia to the United States. Here at Fort Dix, military personnel have been preparing for the refugees' arrival.
Well, since about Saturday, there's been a lot of real hard work by both the agencies of the government that are involved in this, Health and Human Services, INS, and others, and DOD, to put together a very nice facility that will be kind of the home for these refugees that are coming in for the next few weeks.
The refugees will stay at Fort Dix during processing, in other words, getting vaccinations and medical screenings. Then they will move on to stay with either relatives or host families throughout the United States. Volunteer services, donations, and host families are needed to help these families of Kosovo. One ethnic Albanian man formerly from Kosovo drove all the way from Staten Island to help in any way he could.
I came down for our people. I'm Albanian and I came for my blood.
This is just the first plane carrying refugees to arrive here at McGuire Air Force Base. The next one is expected to land here on Friday. A total estimate between 3,000 and 4,000 Albanian refugees is expected to pass through Fort Dix within the next couple weeks. Reporting in McGuire Air Force Base, I'm Robbie Sinclair, TSM News.
An ethnic Albanian who left her homeland a refugee yesterday has given birth to an American citizen. The 21-year-old delivered a healthy boy this afternoon in a Burlington County, New Jersey hospital. There's no word on the mother's condition, but her husband was with her at the hospital. The birth will bring the number of refugees at Fort Dix to 454.
As refugees from Kosovo get settled at Fort Dix this week, some local people have the job of trying to find more permanent places for the newcomers. TSM's Jennifer Turner met with one man from Quakertown who's trying to do his part to make the Kosovars feel more welcome.
They've lost their houses and possessions, been separated from their families, and made to walk for days to unknown destinations. And now thousands of Kosovar refugees have no place to call home. But the U.S. government is trying to change that by admitting 20,000 refugees into the country. They'll begin arriving at Fort Dix this week, and the Albanian American Humanitarian Society will be on hand to help ease their transition. George Zio is one of the executive directors of the society.
We have translators and interpreters, and then we have a group of Albanians from our community that are going to go to Fort Dix just to meet with the people and help them to feel more comfortable.
Zio says that those coming over, mainly women and children, have suffered unspeakable horrors.
There have been reports of rapes, there have been reports of mass beatings, there have been film clips of children who have had their faces scarred with bayonets.
Those that do come over will stay at Fort Dix for up to a month, and then will rely on the generosity of the surrounding community, which Zio says has already extended a helping hand.
Just the outpouring of support and caring from the community at large it's just been overwhelming.
And in Kosovo, President Clinton is welcoming Russia's help in the Kosovo peace process. Russia now backs deployment of an international security force to oversee the return of ethnic Albanian refugees to Kosovo. Mr. Clinton says this latest development is a significant step forward.
More death and destruction as tornadoes touch down in Tennessee. 4 people are reported dead as 30 counties throughout the Nashville area have reported massive damage. An RV park near Opryland was hit especially hard. TSM's national correspondent Ben Hall reports.
The trailer began to rock, and then it just kind of slowly flipped on. All of a sudden, it just flipped.
It's a night Catherine Duke will never forget. She, her daughter, and her daughter's husband were inside their RV when the storm hit. Look inside and you can see how everything was tossed around.
I fell from the right side down. I fell from the left side down to the right side of the vehicle. And so I was down on the floor, and I couldn't find a way to get out because I was concerned about the gas.
She tried to use a hammer to knock out the windshield. Finally, rescuers knocked out a window in the back entrance.
Oh, I'm just thankful to God to be alive because there's so many trailers that are turned over, and many of us could have been killed.
Catherine Duke was not alone. Look at pictures from the air, and you can see how the storm left a path of turned-over RVs. 2 people were hurt, but incredibly none of the injuries was serious.
A lot of the people were in their RVs when they turned them over, and they had to be helped out of it, break the windows out in order to get them out.
We came into
Catherine Duke found a way out. Now she says she's flying home.
Residents of Oklahoma City will spend another day sifting through the rubble, trying to salvage some of their belongings. Deadly tornadoes ripped through the heartland Monday night, leaving debris everywhere and miles of power lines down. The massive twisters leveled 3,000 homes, and 38 people were killed in Oklahoma alone. 5 died in Kansas, and 1 person was killed in Texas.
The Long Island Lolita is getting out of jail. That's right, Amy Fisher is getting paroled. She's been in jail for 7 years of a 5 to 15-year sentence. Fisher shot her lover's wife in the head back in 1992 when she was only 16. Mary Jo Buttafuoco still has a bullet lodged in her neck from that shooting. Joey Buttafuoco served a 6-month sentence for statutory rape. Fisher, who is now 24 years old, is expected to be released from Albion State Prison in New York within the week. And in New Jersey, a transsexual convicted of killing 2 Camden County police officers in 1995 wants to serve as her own attorney in her death penalty trial. Leslie Ann Nielsen told a Camden judge she has philosophical differences with her new court-appointed attorneys. Last year, the state Supreme Court ordered a new sentencing trial for her. The court ruled prosecutors improperly withheld evidence that may have swayed the jury deciding Nelson's sentence.
And coming up on TSM News, we'll show you how the advertising world is looking to cyberspace for a financial boost. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Wherever you go, you see the signs. A new century is coming, and with it, 1,000 questions. Will there be peace? Will your family ever be in harm's way? Will a small town in Texas be hit with a hurricane? Will your daughter ever need a new kind of blood treatment? Will that nice man who hands you the paper ever need a hand to hold in a time of need? We have no crystal ball for the world that awaits. Just one promise. We'll be there. Whether it's in the eye of the storm, in your darkest hour, in your time of need, or in the light of day, we'll be there.
Stop cutting and slicing the old-fashioned way. Introducing the original Kitchen Wizard, the kitchen tool that slices, dices, and so much more. It's easy. Attach the special safety holder and slice perfectly to the end. No hassle, no mess, no waste. Make perfect French fries. Want thick or thin? Just dial it in. Order now and get the super grater and shredder, the gourmet waffle cutter, the professional food decorator, and the sensational spiral slicer free. And we're not done yet. Order in the next 10 minutes and get the incredible Smart Sealer as a free bonus gift to you. Seal vegetables to stay garden fresh. Now, buy super size for super savings. Look, with Smart Sealer, the chips are always crisp. Oh no, freezer burn strikes again. But not when you use the Smart Sealer. Order right now and get the complete Kitchen Wizard system, plus the Smart Sealer for the incredible low price of only $19.95.
To order your Kitchen Wizard and get your free Smart Sealer, call 1-800-858-3322.
Well, as you no doubt already know, hopefully this Sunday is Mother's Day, also known as Mammogram Awareness Day in New Jersey. And for very good reason, Governor Christie Whitman is using the holiday to stress the importance of getting mammograms and breast exams. She says early detection helps the chances for successful treatment if a woman is diagnosed with cancer. Plus, the governor advises women over the age of 40 to get mammograms once a year and to do self-exams periodically. Last year, about 8,200 women in New Jersey alone were diagnosed with breast cancer.
As the internet grows by leaps and bounds, companies doing business in cyberspace are hoping to help pay some of the expenses through advertising revenues. While the desired revenues aren't there yet, analysts say it's just a matter of time. More from TSM's consumer reporter, Ron DePaulis.
Advertising budgets devoted to the internet only accounted for about 1% of the total spent in the U.S. last year. But even at that rate, in real dollars, cyberspace ads doubled the previous year's amount. And according to one study, internet advertising revenue surpassed the amount spent on billboards. One of the problems with generating advertising revenue is that most websites don't have the expertise to go out and round up advertising dollars. Henry Blodgett, Merrill Lynch senior internet analyst, says several new internet companies are now offering to do it for their cyberspace partners.
Essentially, the market is so fragmented that you have many websites that could never generate advertising revenue on their own. They just can't afford to have sales forces. One of the most effective ways for them to generate advertising revenue is to employ a network to sell the advertising for them.
And what about the Madison Avenue types who have dominated the advertising industry in the past?
I think most advertising agencies will, over time, have to offer online advertising services in terms of the planning. When they go to major corporate customers, they obviously want to be able to serve them in multiple media. Television, print, online makes sense. So we would expect most major advertising agencies to have this capability over time.
Well, the total amount of advertising purchased on the internet is small right now in comparison with the overall total. That figure will continue to grow. And Blodgett says eventually it could account for 10 to 20% of all advertising expenditures. If it does reach that level, it'll be more than any ad agency can afford to ignore. In New York, I'm Ron DePaulis reporting.
Well, we're counting the days because it is Mother's Day soon, right? Getting closer and closer to the weekend. And let's hope that the weather is, cooperates for Mother's Day. Should be sunshine.
Absolutely. Little outdoor activities, some fresh flowers. And Jim Stoddard's here with the heavy responsibility of this weekend's forecast.
The onus is on you, Jimmy.
That's right.
Celebrate springtime with a bouquet of specials from Gardeners, your home gardening center. Planting this year, Gardeners has a colorful array of annuals, perennials, and hanging baskets to choose from, along with a wide selection of shade trees, shrubs, and houseplants. Need supplies? Gardeners has what you're looking for and more. And don't forget our gift shop and pottery room to add a distinctive look to your home. Gardeners Landscaping and Nursery, serving homes and businesses for more than a century.
Sally's Gone, She Left Her Name is an intimate window into a family who have found that their expected roles have started to change. A daughter going away to school, a son who has created a world of his own, and there are issues in this play that, that resonate for all of us, I think. That's part of its great appeal. You really have to see it in order to experience it.
We're back. TSM News continues with...
And we're, with weather, of course, and we're certainly hoping for the best. Jim Stoddard is here with the good news.
You're putting a very heavy burden on my shoulders.
That's right,
But
Mom.
I'll tell you, if it's a heavy burden, these are the broad shoulders that can handle it. Well, something like that. Maybe if I build them up, I'll get some biceps. I can't find them at the moment. The weekend is going to be okay. It's going to be just okay. It shouldn't be a deluge for Mother's Day, but we're going to have a few between now and then. Let's check the current conditions. At the moment, 65 degrees. Humidity, you're feeling a lot more humidity today, aren't you? 73%. The barometer, it's starting to rise now. It had been falling up until last hour, but it's holding rock solid at 29.97 inches of mercury. Winds from the southeast at 10. The southeast is where all the rain's a-hiding. Well, let's check the high and low. That's where we're headed, maybe. Keep your fingers crossed. If we had more sunshine, we would definitely get there. This is where we normally are at this time of year, around 69 degrees, so I think we'll be closer to that. Let's check the region. And not everybody is getting moderate temperatures, so a little bit cooler down at the shore. That southeast air goes over the water and cools down, and you see the result there on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Also for Dover, down in Delaware, and we've got the 60s as we get further inland, and that's a nice thing. Let's go to the national map. We've got some shower activity right along the coast, and some severe weather warnings now are being posted right along the coast here of South Carolina, Myrtle Beach down through South Carolina, and towards Savannah down in Georgia. This cold front is pushing the rain in that direction, and what has been hitting these states, Tennessee, Oklahoma, the severe weather, it is calming down now as the system is weakening, but it is still enough of a punch to give severe thunder showers to this whole area. You can see them crossing Georgia right now, and they're going to be at the coast in the next couple of hours. We'll keep you posted as they get closer. A little bit of weak high pressures off the coast here, off the Carolinas, and also up around Maine, and that's been protecting us for the last 24 hours, and it's moving out. It's taken a hike, and we've got some rain coming our way. It's going to take a long time for it to get here, though. You can see a little bit of rain coming into Virginia, coming out of West Virginia, but it's barely past Hagerstown now, and it's going to be quite some time before it gets to us, probably after midnight tonight. So I don't really think we need to worry too much about your activities for this evening. There might be some cloud cover and a brief bit of drizzle, and that's going to be about it. And that's good because there are a lot of festivals that are going on in the area that are welcoming spring. Woodbury, New Jersey has one, just to mention one. And we're going to hope that the good weather continues right through the weekend. Unfortunately, we do have some showers that you'll see reflected in the 5-day forecast. But that's what's heading our way. This system, which has been wreaking so much havoc over the Central Plains and the Midwest, is losing power as it comes toward us, and we're not going to have anywhere near the violent weather they had out in the center of the country. And that's a good thing. Let's check the forecast. Let's start with tonight. We've got some shower activity probably arriving after midnight, about 52 overnight. Then in the morning, showers hanging around. It's going to be a fairly rainy day tomorrow, an off and on kind of thing. 63 when you leave for work, and then the sun will finally break out in spots, and we'll get up near 80 degrees. The sun does magical things. You'll see that reflected in the 5-day forecast as well. As we look for thunderstorms, they're going to pop up just about any time. With all this humidity around, they can show up anytime. Friday and Saturday. Sunday, it'll be a lesser chance for Mother's Day, and we hope that you and your mom have big plans. Cook her dinner, get her flowers, get her candy, prop up her feet and put a pillow behind her head.
Oh, I do that all the time for my mom.
Could you start that over again? I was writing this down.
That's a list. We'll make this list
out.
out, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, hopefully it'll be good weather because Wilmington's Flower Market begins today. It's an annual fundraiser to benefit dozens of children's charities in Delaware.
That's right. Volunteers worked overtime to set up flower stands, home furnishing tents, kiddie rides, and food tents, preparing for the pre-Mother's Day Festival. The event is in Rockford Park and runs through Saturday.
The flower market's been around since 1921. It was started by one of the DuPonts on the steps of her house, and she started selling seedlings and flowers and donated money to St. Michael's Day Nursery. It was called Baby's Nursery, I think, back then. And over the years, it's been a couple different places. It's evolved into a big tradition in Wilmington, and everybody can't wait for it to come and for it to...
This is the flower market's primary moneymaker. There are smaller fundraising events throughout the year, just in case rain interrupts the three-day Flower Fest. That's where they have the other fundraisers throughout the year.
Just in case, right?
That's right.
Those were very pretty, huh?
Gorgeous.
Perfect for Mom.
Absolutely.
Jim Hayes is next with sports.
The Orioles, well, they get their feathers ruffled after a fan roughs up their mascot.
Oh, no. No. What are you doing? Give me the bat. Stance is all wrong. Check this out. Come to Papa.
The Saturn wagon, with easy to maintain, dent-resistant doors.
Woo. Good pitch. I'll see you guys later.
Hi, I'm Rocky. Want to know where Chester County's farm freshest mushrooms come from? Rocky's Mushroom Outlet, that's where. We grow mushrooms 365 days a year, so you can have us farm fresh anytime. And best of all, you can come right here to our farm to buy all your favorites. So come see us at Rocky's Mushroom Outlet for farm fresh mushrooms, and tell them Rocky sent you. Bye-bye. Bye, mushrooms.
TSM News continues. It's sports time.
Gotta love those Sixers. Pat Croce and Allen Iverson gets a special honor. Jim Hayes is here with sports.
Bigger than that, Janet's back.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
This is going to be a good sportscast because I'm going to do it for you. You know, the 76ers had to take care of some business as they wrapped up the regular season last night against the Pistons at the First Union Center. Sixers looking to nail down the number 6 spot in the East, and then there was that little matter about a scoring title for Allen Iverson, MVP. Allen's mom says yes. So does Allen's play. 12 seconds left, Sixers down 2. Iverson to the rescue, nails the jumper, tied at 93 going to overtime. In OT, Larry Hughes, very, very unorthodox, but they'll take it. Iverson had 33, so Al gets the scoring title. Sixers win 105-100 in OT. Sixers get the 6th seed. They meet Orlando in the first round. Baseball now, the Phillies take on the Colorado Rockies on the road tomorrow night. The Phils are coming off an 11-1 win over the Padres yesterday. In other baseball business, a big problem for the Reds as they were home to Arizona last night. They had to face the big unit. Speak of the devil, Randy Johnson helping himself. Top 2, he smacks one into the corner. Bernard Gilkey scores. It was 2-0 D-backs. Then bottom 9, 2 out, 5-1 Arizona. Greg Vaughn facing the big unit. Can't even see the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Johnson 8 Ks over the full 9. He's now 3-1. Arizona wins it 5-1. I call it America's shame, a crime that too often goes unpunished. You know what I'm talking about. Cruelty to mascots. The Oriole bird was the latest victim. He's doing his thing here, but it seems during Tuesday night's game, a fan by the name of Louis Vitagliano pushed the bird off of the groundskeeper shed at Camden Yards. We're not making light of this because the bird broke an ankle. Vitaglio faces criminal charges. Meantime, someone else will wear the bird suit. Class A baseball, where the Wilmington Blue Rocks were home to the Frederick Keys last night, missing out on a free T-shirt. It's the worst kind of disappointment. Top 3, Keys getting busy. Darnell McDonald. Did somebody say McDonald? He goes back up the middle. Chris Paxson, come on down. Frankie Figueroa, come on down. The Rocks fall to Frederick 11-2. The same 2 teams will play tonight, and that's it for TSM Sports. Your local sports is coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Now back to the news desk. Janet's back.
Utter perfection.
Ooh, thank
you so much, Jim.
It's one for the history book.
Next on TSM News, we'll show you a unique 19th century theater in central Pennsylvania.
The theater is so unique, it's only one of 3 still in existence in the entire country. We'll have the details after this. Stick around.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with. Ask your employer about workplace giving.
John Walson knew he was onto something back in 1948. He built an antenna on a hill that ran cable down into town. Thanks to pioneers like John Walson, cable television was born. Today, millions of people use cable in ways that John Walson never dreamed of. Cable brings the internet to homes, schools, and businesses 50 to 100 times faster than a phone line. Cable offers more high-quality educational and children's programming than anyone. In all, cable is investing $11 billion a year, advancing technology, bringing you better service and better programming. In fact, cable is spending $6 billion a year on award-winning programs. John Walson could never have predicted where cable would lead, but if he were around today, he'd probably like where cable is going. Cable TV, wired to the future.
And tonight, TSM News takes you inside the Fulton Theater in Lancaster for a close look at the 147-year-old building.
TSM's Wendy Caldwell tells us some of the best actors here in the United States have appeared on stage at the historic theater.
Blending 19th century Victorian grandeur with 21st century comfort, Lancaster's Fulton Opera House is only one of 3 National Historic Landmark theaters in the United States. It's been recognized because of its continuous operation since it was first built in 1852. Executive Director Deidre Simmons says the theater has undergone many changes since it was first commissioned.
It was built as a flat-floored hall in 1852. It was not a theater. It didn't look anything at all like it does now. And it served many, many purposes, a community meeting place at that point in time. There were gentlemen's societies that used to meet in the upper floors. There were readings and concerts and performances that took place in the main hall. And they even stored tobacco and manure down in the basement. So it really was a multi-purpose space.
A renovation project in 1873 transformed the Fulton into a true theater.
Edwin Forrest Durang undertook that renovation. He built a stage house. He raked the orchestra seats and he put a first balcony on. And it was after that time that they called it the Fulton Opera House.
In the early 20th century, performers like Sarah Bernhardt, John Philip Sousa, Mark Twain, and the entire Barrymore family took to the stage here at the Fulton. In 1985, the movie Witness premiered here. And today, over 100,000 theatergoers come to the Fulton every year to enjoy performances.
A second renovation in 1904 added a peanut gallery, but by the end of the 1950s, the theater was in such disrepair, there was talk of tearing it down. Community leaders raised the money to refurbish. A $9.5 million renovation project in the early 1990s helped bring the luster back to the Fulton. Reporting for TSM News, I'm Wendy Caldwell.
Beautiful place. Recapping our top stories now, an Albanian refugee who arrived at Fort Dix yesterday has given birth to an American citizen. The 21-year-old delivered a healthy boy this afternoon in a Burlington County, New Jersey hospital.
And more tornadoes have touched down, causing death and more destruction. This time in Tennessee, 4 people are reported dead. 30 counties in the state have reported massive amounts of damage.
You know, I feel so bad that I complain about the sun not shining.
Oh, absolutely.
When so many areas have been hit by such destructive weather.
Completely
We've
wiped
been
out.
really, really lucky here.
Yep. Jot down the number. It's Point of View time next. 1-800-766-2420. Join us then.
Yeah.
There's a feeling deep inside that comes from what we give. It's reaching down into our hearts and choosing how to live. You can make a difference with a job that really matters. Our purpose is real. Oh, the future starts here. It's waiting right here. It's waiting for you. Hold your head up with pride. Let the world open wide. 'Cause that's what it's all about. Jobs that matter. Our purpose is clear. Oh, the future starts here. Hold your head up with pride. Let the world open wide.
In the United States Coast Guard, the job you do every day is a job that matters.
Jobs that matter.
The U.S. Coast Guard. Jobs that matter.
Introducing Smart Wrench, the patented new tool that automatically adjusts to fit any size bolt or nut, metric or standard, instantly. Watch how it works. Smart Wrench's interlocking teeth automatically conform to fit any size nut or bolt that you're using. Do you need a half-inch socket? Smart Wrench has it covered. Now you need a 1-inch wrench. You're all ready to go. Look, this man has to change sockets with every bolt. But now one tool does it all, even wing nuts, eye hooks, and square head nuts. Stripped and broken, Smart Wrench has them all covered. Plus, Smart Wrench is made of top-quality chrome vanadium steel. You can't break it. You can use it on your car, bike, boat, camper, around the house or the garage. Smart Wrench replaces this $200 socket set, and you can't lose a piece. So get your Smart Wrench, ratchet, extender, and carrying case, plus our unconditional lifetime money-back guarantee for only $19.95.
To order, call 1-800-726-3993. That's 1-800-726-3993.
We're back. It's TSM News Point of View. I'm Mark Davies, joined this half hour by Dr. Ken Weiss, psychiatrist, and we're going to talk about depression, some of the treatments that are currently available, some of the treatments that you're providing, and depression, what happens when depression goes untreated. It's one of the most underdiagnosed and undertreated diseases, really, that's out there. 1-800-766-2420. That's the number to call. Get in touch with us with your questions, and also we want to hear from you. Also on the website at tsmnews.com. We're going to check out a couple of websites, so join us there in the chat room. How underreported, underdiagnosed is depression?
Most cases of depression are never found. People suffer with it and don't know they have it.
Why is that? I mean, people know that there's something wrong, or do they just get used to existing in a state?
That's a great question. I think the answer has to do with people are afraid. They're afraid that if they admit that there's something wrong up there in that area, that it means they're insane or that they'll be looked at
There's still
funny.
that much stigma attached.
Yeah, there still is.
It's really amazing when you think about how far mental health has come, even in the past 20, 30, 50 years.
Well, the treatments have come a long way. It's a matter of getting doctors to acknowledge it and patients, consumers. And this is May is Mental Health Month. So we want to make sure that the word gets out both to potential patients and to doctors.
Now, doctor, somebody who's a family physician who's treated somebody for, ulcers and hay fever, what should they be looking for, and how often do they miss what they should be looking for?
A lot of times it comes in some other form. It's unlikely that a patient is going to come in and say, I have depression, although that's happening more frequently. They'll often come in and say, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing anything, I'm nervous, I can't sleep, I have an upset stomach, my chest aches, I have aches and pains.
And what usually happens? Do they diagnose them with Epstein-Barr virus, or do they give them,
well,
what is it?
That's another good question, because how far do you take a medical workup? Do you get every viral test? Do you get every laboratory test and brain scans and so forth? Or should a doctor play the percentages and say, the most common thing that causes these symptoms is depression, and that would be true.
Well, doesn't it contribute also to other sorts of physical symptoms? I mean, I suppose fatigue certainly one of the obvious ones, insomnia.
Yes, and I'm going to give you some other big things that depression contributes to. Alcohol abuse, drug abuse by way of self-medication, accident proneness, heart disease.
Heart disease, that's the one that people don't think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is that? Is it, I mean, a direct physical correlation, or is it just from living for so many years in a state that perhaps of self-abuse?
It's a real physical correlation. In fact, this was published in one of our top psychiatric journals this past year, that people with depression are at risk for serious heart disease. When they get it treated, the risk goes down. It's like smoking. Smoking cessation lowers your risk. Getting depression treated lowers your risk.
It's amazing. Well, traditionally, or I suppose even more so lately, some of the more traditional methods for treating the non-medical methods, or even medical for that matter, tend to be, some people say, undercompensated, not paid for as much by health insurance, traditional insurance, and people seem to be put off by that a lot.
It has been a struggle, and we've solved it to a degree. And most people who are under managed care plans have a behavioral health component, where by law, the provider is required to give the patient, the consumer, a certain number of sessions, let's say, with a mental health provider. That doesn't mean that they have ready and quick access to a psychiatrist or to someone very familiar with the medications used to treat depression.
How do you decide how somebody becomes medicated? Because there seems to be a whole plethora of, a whole range of medications available, and new ones seem to come out every day.
Well, that's what we do at Delaware Valley Research Associates in King of Prussia. This is what we do. We treat people in medication programs. Now, that's not to say that every single person who comes to us needs medication and should get it. There are some people we tell you should get psychotherapy. But the big things are the persistence of sad mood over a period of weeks. And that's something that shouldn't happen normally. If something bad happens to you, or you feel bad, you feel low, you should bounce back from it.
In many cases, years as well. This is not just something that...
And depression can be chronic, and the more it's a chronic illness, again, the more people fall victim to these other things: alcoholism, heart disease, and being out of work and not performing.
Contributes to the whole picture of poor health.
It sure does, Mark.
Well, tell us a little bit about your program, because I mean, I've seen a little thumbnail sketch of this and how it's different, and how it kind of, in some ways, answers some of the problems with traditional treatment.
Yeah, we're Delaware Valley Research Associates. We're located in King of Prussia. We're a private freestanding research clinic. We offer people an opportunity to become participants in research programs where we're looking at better and more effective and safer ways to treat depression with medication.
And how do people become involved in that? There's some people that are ideal candidates for it, or some people that are not. How do you determine that?
We're basically looking for people who've had persistent low mood, or who have had nervousness or panic attacks or anxiety over a period of several weeks or more. Those people are generally candidates for medication treatment. We have people call us at our office in King of Prussia.
Why don't you give the number now? We're going to get it up on the screen for folks in just a little bit. Go ahead, give the number.
It's 610-992-9620.
It's 610-992-9620, and we'll get that up on the screen in just a bit later.
Okay.
Our number is 1-800-766-2420. We want to hear from you. Talking about depression with Dr. Ken Weiss. How do people feel about being part of a research study? Are there some people that are uneasy with it?
We discussed that with them in the beginning. It's not the kind of thing where we're just experimenting on people like mad scientists, and we say, we're going to give you something and let's see what happens. All the medicines we have already been tested for safety in people. And in fact, Mark, most of the ones we have right now are already on the market. We're just testing them for some other phase of depression or anxiety.
So what is the testing you're doing? Just trying to see what medication works best for what sorts of depression people have?
For example, we have a number of treatments. One is for people who have had depressions over and over again throughout their life cycle. Another one for the older adult over 65. We have another one for nervousness and worry. We have another program that's for severe depression, where we try to ramp up the dosage more quickly. And finally, we have a program with an antidepressant patch, which is a new and,
do you have
unique.
One of those? I saw one in the lobby, but
I do happen to have.
Take a look at that.
I have my box of patches with me
and
at all times.
It's a lot like the patch that you hear about.
It's like the patch for any other illness. And what a person would do is open it up and take the patch out. It's like a little Band-Aid, and it's very simple to use. You would peel it off and put it on your skin. And by doing that, the medicine is contained in the patch like it is for the smoking ones.
How long does that dose last?
This dose lasts a whole day, and you have to change the patch. But for people who don't like taking pills, or this is a great medicine itself that gets to the brain through the skin. It doesn't have to be digested
the same
like
way,
it would be.
The same way you do for smoking cessation, or also for what's the other one?
There are hormones,
motion
sickness. That's right. So it's a great innovation that we have.
Now, do you do combination treatments with people, or you basically select the candidates that would respond best to medication only, or do you do therapy as well, or do you refer them for that sort of thing?
We refer, Mark. We don't do therapy ourselves. We're very much for therapy. It's just that when you're doing a scientific kind of program like does a drug work, or does it work better or not as well as something else, it's hard to mix two types of treatment. So we want people to get therapy. We often ask them to defer it until they're done with our program.
So you'll do one, if somebody is a better candidate for therapy at the time that they come to you, you'll refer them for therapy.
That's right.
Whereas if they're the ideal candidate for medical treatment.
Yes. Okay. That's right. We want what's best for them.
Absolutely. I think we have the number, if we can put it up there again. I think it's 610, there it is, 992-9620, the Delaware Valley Research Center. Dr. Ken Weiss is with us talking about depression. Now, what are the other sorts of things that people eventually come around to finding that they have depression? Other physical maladies or other crises that seem to happen in their lives?
The big thing, Mark, is persistent sad mood, feeling like life isn't worth living anymore, thinking, well, would I be better off dead, and how might I do it? That's when it's beginning to get serious. And the other big thing, Mark, is the idea that you can't derive pleasure from life. So if we ask the question, do things that you used to get a kick out of still give you that kick? And if the answer is no, like, you know, food doesn't taste good to me anymore, or I can't read anymore because I can't follow it, that's typically depression.
All right. 1-800-766-2412. We're going to continue to talk about depression and also the treatment from Dr. Ken Weiss, and we want to hear from you at 1-800-766-2412. I'm going to check out a couple of websites as well as we come back.
If you're looking for quality office furniture at a quality price, Office Furniture Concepts has it. OFC has a wide selection of home office, corporate, and used furniture from all the leading manufacturers. Come visit OFC's showroom in Chester County to see the large in-store inventory, or shop online at OFC's website. Call OFC toll-free to answer your office furniture questions. Office Furniture Concepts. Fine office furniture, great service, very affordable prices.
Celebrate springtime with a bouquet of specials from Gardeners, your home gardening center. Planting this year, Gardeners has a colorful array of annuals, perennials, and hanging baskets to choose from, along with a wide selection of shade trees, shrubs, and houseplants. Need supplies? Gardeners has what you're looking for, and more. And don't forget our gift shop and pottery room to add a distinctive look to your home. Gardeners Landscaping and Nursery, serving homes and businesses for more than a century.
Education come alive for our children? What are 41 million students getting from cable's commercial-free educational television? Ways that make geography, history, social studies come to life. They also get electronic field trips to Costa Rica, Africa, Berlin, and they get what other students all over the world think. And for thousands of kids, in school after school across America, cable TV downloads information from the internet 50 to 100 times faster than a phone line. Plus, instant live video connections with people, schools, and libraries across the country and around the world. And it's free. If all this has caught your attention, just think what it does for a 9-year-old. Cable TV, wired to the future.
We're back at TSM News Point of View. I'm Mark Davies, joined by Dr. Ken Weiss, psychiatrist from Delaware Valley Research Associates. We're talking about depression. May is Mental Health Month. Talking about the resources available for treating depression. Information as well. We want to check in with Jen Newley in the at the net desk chat room. See what's going on. Jen?
Thanks, Mark. I was searching the internet for some resources on depression, and I found a good website, and I linked to it from our site. If we can get this up on the screen, this is the tsmnews.com/news page, and this is where you can find all the sites mentioned in today's newscast, as well as sites from other newscasts. And I linked to depression.com. Now, this website, I picked it because it seemed like the most thorough resource on depression. Other stuff was, it just had to do with different articles and certain special interest, you know, groups who were selling things for depression or advocating certain approaches to depression. So this one I found seemed like the most all-encompassing one. If we could get that up on screen right now. Today's highlights on this website are antidepressant medications, non-drug therapies. There's a quiz here. If you're taking an antidepressant medication, have you experienced sleep difficulties? It just seems like a resource for all kinds of information. Latest news, keep taking your antidepressant after you feel better. And they, you know, information, questions and answers. But once again, this is just a web resource. This is just where you find out information. I'm sure Dr. Weiss could explain to us why looking on the internet to cure your depression probably isn't the best way to go. Correct, Doctor?
It shouldn't be the only thing you do.
Right. No, it's actually just a good course, a resource for information for people.
Other sites might be Depression Central, as I recall. And also, don't forget the American Psychiatric Association. If you just do a search for them, there is a consumer component to the American Psychiatric Association website.
Might it be APA.com?
It's probably .org.
Oh, .org, okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you treat people, when the candidates that you take for treatment are the ones that are best suited for medication specifically and only, what usually is the length of treatment? And
depression should be treated for several months. Now, in our clinical trials that we do, we treat people for at least a couple of months. Some of the trials that we do have extensions, which go, say, for 6 months or more. It depends what medication we're looking at. You should not treat depression as a headache. If it's a situation where you want to treat depression like on a daily basis, it's not going to work. You can't treat depression as if it were a headache and take aspirin for it. So it's got to be months on end, and we educate all our patients to try to make sure they understand that.
Now, when you find the medical treatment that works specifically best for a candidate, do they stay on this medication, you know, into the future indefinitely? Or
they can. If it's a typical study that we have and the medication's already on the market, we can say to them in the beginning, we're going to study this medication with you. If it helps you, we can make sure you get it in a drugstore and I can prescribe it for you.
And actually, I think we should reiterate as well that what you're doing is part of research in general, and that this is an attractive alternative to people who have found just the cost of or the coverage for mental psychiatric nervous treatment not there with their health insurance companies, or if they don't have somehow insurance for that.
That's right, and there are a number of reasons why people come to us, and you've mentioned some. Others are that medication stopped working, or the medication had side effects, or the primary care doctor tried a medication and it didn't work, and the doctor didn't quite know what to do. And if the patient doesn't have access to a psychiatrist, what we can say honestly is that if you come to us, you will have ready and quick access to me as a psychiatrist specializing in psychopharmacology.
Now, you said difficulties with medications. What sort of difficulties have people had before they come to you and also during treatment with you? What could possible side effects be?
The drugs that we're using are very good in terms of side effects. Drugs have typical effects like headache, nausea, somnolence, which is sleepiness during the day. There's no way ever to predict what a medication is going to react with a person. Yeah, but generally speaking, they're very mild.
I guess I asked because I think that maybe some people's hesitation toward getting into medical therapy because they may sense or they may fear some sort of side effects or potential side effects.
You know, what we call the risk-benefit ratio is that if you have depression, and let me just make this point that I didn't make before, the mortality, the death rate from untreated depression is 15%. That's a very, very big number. So if you want to look at the risks and benefits of getting treated for depression versus whatever the little side effects might be, the odds are definitely in favor of getting treatment.
We should give your phone number again. It's 610-992-9620. That's the number to get in touch with Dr. Weiss at Delaware Valley Research Associates to become part of this program. 610-992-9620. And our number is 1-800-766-2420, not to inundate you with too many phone numbers, but we want to hear from you as well. This is a pretty serious topic for a lot of people. Now, how often do you find somebody coming either to you or to their family physician with some sort of malady that you can't really determine how much is depression, how much is physical, and then how does it break down after that?
It breaks down that the primary care physician should rule out some big things, anemia, thyroid or other so-called endocrine disorders, cancer, of course drug abuse and alcoholism, which can also look like depression and anxiety, should be ruled out.
And which come first? Because you had talked about those being symptoms of depression, or do they stand alone? I mean, I guess that's a kind of a larger debate.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't wait till every last test, especially if the tests are going to take a long time. Sometimes the smarter thing to do for the doctor is to treat the depression and to say, well, the treatment for depression is good. If it works, that made the diagnosis. That may not sound all that scientific to people, but actually that's how it works. You treat, and then you judge the effects, and then you figure out where to go when the patient gets better.
Now, when the patient does get better, and if they're responding to medical therapy, do people stop taking their medicines? Is that a problem?
It's a problem, right, because what we call non-compliance or non-adherence to treatment is one of the big reasons that people have recurrences and relapses. What we tell our patients is, please stay on your medication, because the likelihood, the statistics are, if you've had 3 or more episodes of depression, the likelihood that you're going to have another one is close to 100%. And I'm not saying that it's an absolute scientific certainty, but the statistics are staggering.
They don't lie. 610-992-9620 if you want to be a part of this program, Delaware Valley Research Associates. Dr. Ken Weiss is with us. We're going to continue with Point of View and your phone calls at 1-800-766-2420. Stick with us. That's perfect.
Sally's Gone, She Left Her Name is an intimate window into a family who have found that their expected roles have started to change. A daughter going away to school, a son who has created a world of his own, and there are issues in this play that, that resonate for all of us, I think. That's part of its great appeal. You really have to see it in order to experience it.
Today, finding a great jeweler is like finding the perfect diamond. Since 1951, Leon Jewelers has been finding the best diamonds at unmatched prices. Buyers go weekly to New York seeking platinum and gold jewelry with a fashion edge. Leon staff enjoys getting to know their customer, finding that one-of-a-kind look just right for you. But Leon Jewelers doesn't stop there. They're authorized dealers for the best watches from Rolex, Breitling, and Tag Heuer, and others. Leon Jewelers, the finest jewelry, high fashion style, and a dedicated staff that look forward to meeting you.
Everywhere a scratch, and they're all an eyesore. What you need is GS27 Scratch Remover. GS27 gets rid of those surface scratches and paint swirls quickly and easily. Simply rub it into the scratch, then polish to a beautiful finish. The scratch is gone. GS27 is not an abrasive, and it works wonders on any color. Would you do this to a brand new car? Ouch! But GS27 removes that ugly scratch quickly and easily. It'll even remove paint scrapes and unsightly rust. GS27 is only $14.95, but order now and get a second tube for only $5. That's 2 for just $19.95. Order now.
To order GS27, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-268-9977 or send a check or money order to GS27, 1000 Apex Street, Department GS, Nashville, Tennessee 37206.
We're back. It's TSM's Point of View. I'm Mark Davies, joined by Dr. Ken Weiss, psychiatrist, talking about depression and talking about Delaware Valley Research Associates. Now, part of what's different about what you do is it's free, because people are participating in research, clinical trials for medications. And obviously you try to treat people for the medication that's most appropriate for them.
Right.
Now, free is also a pretty good word. I mean, people people put off this sort of thing because not only is there stigma attached to it, which is a problem, but also because only so much of it is covered under traditional sorts of health insurance. Now, what are people? What is part? Well, how does the clinical trial work? What are you actually trying to accomplish with the medication and the people?
We're asked by a pharmaceutical company to study a medication. So what we'll do is we'll make known to consumers that we have a clinical trial going, let's say for anxiety or depression. People will call us and we'll ask the individual a bunch of questions on the phone. What's bothering you? How long has it been bothering you? Are you in treatment now? What's the result of the treatment? And so forth. And then they'll come in and we'll talk to them individually in a full evaluation session. And again, everything's covered completely free of charge. If they sign up for the program, we'll give them study medication, laboratory tests, a physical examination, cardiogram, just to make sure that they're otherwise healthy. And then we'll proceed to give them medication and regular visits, which are also covered under the program. So it's a very inclusive thing and it's very hands-on. We'll make sure what's going on. We ask a lot of detailed questions, and the people we have in our programs are very happy to get that much attention.
How many people do you have in a program at a time, or does that vary?
For each medication, it can vary from 15 to 50. And they're relatively small programs, but again, it may be comforting for people to know it's a very hands-on kind of thing.
Right. Now, and how long does a clinical trial usually last, or does that also vary with the medication?
It varies from about 2 months to up to a year.
If somebody was interested in participating, what happens after the trial is over, after the research is done?
Well, one interesting aspect of this is that we tell all of our patients, when you finish the clinical trial, we will continue to make sure you get medication. If it means my prescribing it myself, I will be happy to do so. Or if it means informing your own doctor about what to do next, I will do that as well.
Now, what are the downsides to this? Do people come to you and they're not happy with how it happens, or they generally, this is win-win for them? I mean, obviously, I'm not going to ask you to say something terrible about yourself, but I mean, is there some people for whom this is not appropriate?
Yes. If someone is suicidal, if they need hospitalization.
And what do you do with somebody like that?
If someone comes in and says, I want to kill myself, we work as hard as we can to get them appropriate resources of psychotherapy or to a physician who can treat them openly, not in a research program.
Okay. We're going to take a call. We have Carol from Downing. Carol, are you there? Carol, are you with us?
Pardon me?
Carol, are you there? You have a question for Dr. Weiss?
Yes. I've been taking a lot of depression medicine, and recently I was put on Paxil. Also, I've been taking Ambien with it, as it kind of helps me feel better.
Okay.
But I'm kind of having a hard time because it's a sleeping pill. But I still do not have any energy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if, and I do notice one thing. I did know that when I stopped taking my medication, that I totally am worse.
Mm. Okay, so you're getting a partial response.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very difficult at the first time around in giving an antidepressant to give a good match between a person and a medication. Paxil is an excellent medication. Ambien is very short acting, so it's unlikely that it's making you tired during the day, although it's still a possibility that if Ambien were to hang around during the day, especially if you're taking 10 milligrams or more, that it might be making you drowsy during the day. Antidepressants can have the effect of making people sedated during the day. A good antidepressant treatment should alert you and give you back some of your energy. So it's a matter of timing, dosage, and the right medication. It's possible that you're not quite on enough Paxil, or if your doctor says, well, you've been on enough for long enough, there are many medications out there that are similar to Paxil, somewhat slightly different ways of acting in the brain that might do just as well, if not better, for you.
Well, I think I've been on just about everything.
Yeah, that may be one of the reasons that people come into research programs. So if you were to call us, we would review with you, for example, what medicines we have, and perhaps we have something that you could not get from your own doctor or in a drugstore because it's not on the market yet, that might represent something that's a little bit different from what you've had before. So that's a service that we can offer people.
Karen, did you get the number?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's 610-992-9620. It's Dr. Ken Weiss, and it's Delaware Valley Research Associates right there on the screen. 610-992-9620. You could be a candidate for this.
All right,
Yes.
thank you very much.
All right, good luck.
Bye.
Again, that's the number. That's what you do. People should get in touch with you if they think that they've been dealing with depression, if they've dealt with it in the past, or, again, if they feel like they're in a spout of just generally depressed mood
Yes,
as
that's
much
right.
as anything.
Depression or anxiety or panic attacks, they all sort of run together, and we have treatments for all of them.
Okay, very good. 610-992-9620. Dr. Ken Weiss, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much,
Local
Mark.
news coming up just after the top of the hour. Stick around.
In today's multicultural, interconnected world, things change really fast. The only way to compete globally is to get a global education. As a YFU international exchange student, you gain the knowledge and the skills that will prepare you to be a world player.
When first I was thinking I want to be successful in the U.S., now I think in terms of the world.
If you're between 15 and 18 and have the guts to jump out of your familiar surroundings and land in one of 30 countries around the world, you're the type of student YFU is looking for.
And I was really surprised at how much Spanish I learned. Before I went there, I didn't speak any Spanish at all. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't speak it. And coming back, I really did learn a lot.
Start learning about the world and your place in it by calling 1-800-ARE-YOU-READY and ask for this free book on international exchange for high school students. It helps you choose a country to go to and shows you how to apply. So, go global. The world looks better in person.
These are my kids. Their minds go 1,000,000 miles an hour. When the cable company connected us to the internet, it really got all my students involved. It really helped to keep the class tuned in. I love teaching. I love children. Well, it's a lot of fun. I want these children to have the very best tools to help them learn.
Captain Ron, we successfully tagged a baby gray whale.
Sometimes it's even hard to get them to go home at night. Good night, whale.
Now, from the TSM News Network, with live, local, and interactive news and information for the tri-state region. This is TSM News, live.
And good evening, I'm Janet Zapala.
And I'm Mark Davies, and this is TSM News. The Kosovar refugees at Fort Dix say they're happy to call New Jersey home tonight. 450 ethnic Albanians from that war-torn region are now receiving medical and humanitarian care that they have so desperately been missing and needing for months. TSM's Robbie Sinclair has more.
Fort Dix is now the temporary home for 400 ethnic Albanians. Their plane arrived at McGuire Air Force Base around 4:20 this afternoon. This is the first of many planes that will be transporting the refugees from Macedonia to the United States. Here at Fort Dix, military personnel have been preparing for the refugees' arrival.
Well, since about Saturday, there's been a lot of real hard work by both the agencies of the government that are involved in this, Health and Human Services, INS and others, and DOD, to put together a very nice facility that will be kind of the home for these refugees that are coming in for the next few weeks.
The refugees will stay at Fort Dix during processing, in other words, getting vaccinations and medical screenings. Then they will move on to stay with either relatives or host families throughout the United States. Volunteer services, donations, and host families are needed to help these families of Kosovo. One ethnic Albanian man formerly from Kosovo drove all the way from Staten Island to help in any way he could.
I came down for our people. I'm Albanian and I came for my blood.
This is just the first plane carrying refugees to arrive here at McGuire Air Force Base. The next one is expected to land here on Friday. A total estimate between 3,000 and 4,000 Albanian refugees is expected to pass through Fort Dix within the next couple weeks. Reporting in McGuire Air Force Base, I'm Robbie Sinclair, TSM News.
And an ethnic Albanian who left her homeland a refugee yesterday has given birth to an American citizen. The 21-year-old delivered a healthy boy this afternoon in Burlington County, New Jersey, in a hospital. There's no word on the mother's condition, but her husband was with her at the hospital. The birth will bring the number of refugees, the total number at Fort Dix, to 454.
As the refugees from Kosovo get settled at Fort Dix this week, some local people have the job of trying to find more permanent homes for the newcomers. TSM's Jennifer Turner met with one man from Quakertown who's doing his part to make the Kosovars feel welcome.
They've lost their houses and possessions, been separated from their families, and made to walk for days to unknown destinations. And now thousands of Kosovar refugees have no place to call home. But the U.S. government is trying to change that by admitting 20,000 refugees into the country. They'll begin arriving at Fort Dix this week, and the Albanian American Humanitarian Society will be on hand to help ease their transition. George Zio is one of the executive directors of the society.
We have translators and interpreters, and then we have a group of Albanians from our community that are going to go to Fort Dix just to meet with the people and help them to feel more comfortable.
Zio says that those coming over, mainly women and children, have suffered unspeakable horrors.
There have been reports of rapes, there have been reports of mass beatings, there have been film clips of children who have had their faces scarred with bayonets.
Those that do come over will stay at Fort Dix for up to a month, and then will rely on the generosity of the surrounding community, which Zio says has already extended a helping hand.
Just the outpouring of support and caring from the community at large it's just been overwhelming.
Again, that was TSM's Jennifer Turner reporting. The Albanian American Humanitarian Society is still looking for donations of food, clothing, household supplies, as well as monetary donations. You can contact them at 161 West Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, or call the number on your screen, area code 215-538-3933. Meantime, President Clinton is welcoming Russia's help in the Kosovo peace process. Russia is now backing deployment of an international security force to oversee the return of ethnic Albanian refugees to Kosovo. The president says this latest development is a significant step forward.
More death and destruction as tornadoes touch down in Tennessee. 4 people are reported dead as 30 counties throughout the Nashville area have reported massive damage. An RV park near Opryland was hit especially hard. TSM's national correspondent Ben Hall reports.
And then it just kind of slowly flipped on. All of a sudden, it just flipped.
It's a night Catherine Duke will never forget. She, her daughter, and her daughter's husband were inside their RV when the storm hit. Look inside and you can see how everything was tossed around.
I fell from the right side down. I fell from the left side down to the right side of the vehicle. And so I was down on the floor, and I couldn't find a way to get out because I was concerned about the gas.
She tried to use a hammer to knock out the windshield. Finally, rescuers knocked out a window in the back entrance.
Oh, I'm just thankful to God to be alive because there's so many trailers that are turned over, and many of us could have been killed.
Catherine Duke was not alone. Look at pictures from the air, and you can see how the storm left a path of turned-over RVs. 2 people were hurt, but incredibly none of the injuries was serious.
A lot of the people were in their RVs when they turned them over, and they had to be helped out of it, break the windows out in order to get them out.
We came into
Catherine Duke found a way out. Now she says she's flying home.
In the meantime, residents of Oklahoma City are spending another day sifting through the rubble, trying to salvage some of their belongings. Deadly tornadoes ripped through the heartland Monday night, leaving debris everywhere and miles of power lines down. The massive twisters leveled 3,000 homes. 38 people were killed in Oklahoma, 5 died in Kansas, and 1 person was killed in Texas.
The Long Island Lolita is getting out of jail, believe it or not. Amy Fisher is getting paroled. She's been in jail for 7 years of a 5 to 15-year sentence. Fisher shot her lover's wife in the head back in 1992 when she was just 16. Mary Jo Buttafuoco still has a bullet lodged in her neck from that shooting. Joey Buttafuoco served a 6-month sentence for statutory rape. Fisher, who is now 24 years old, is expected to be released from a state prison in New York within the week. And in New Jersey, a transsexual convicted of killing 2 Camden County police officers in 1995 wants to serve as her own lawyer in her death penalty trial. Leslie Ann Nielsen told a Camden judge she has philosophical differences with her new court-appointed attorneys. Last year, the state Supreme Court ordered a new sentencing trial for her. The court ruled prosecutors improperly withheld evidence that may have swayed the jury deciding Nelson's sentence.
Next on TSM News, it's news from your community.
That's right. We'll take a look at all the top stories happening right where you live right after this.
Today, finding a great jeweler is like finding the perfect diamond. Since 1951, Leon Jewelers has been finding the best diamonds at unmatched prices. Buyers go weekly to New York seeking platinum and gold jewelry with a fashion edge. Leon staff enjoys getting to know their customer, finding that one-of-a-kind look just right for you. But Leon Jewelers doesn't stop there. They're authorized dealers for the best watches from Rolex, Breitling, and Tag Heuer, and others. Leon Jewelers, the finest jewelry, high fashion style, and a dedicated staff that look forward to meeting you.
The First National Bank of Westchester. Discover the true value of community banking. First National is your full-service community bank. We offer convenient banking services priced right with a full range of deposit accounts and loans for businesses and individuals. First National provides the personalized service you'd expect from a hometown community bank. Call on us and find out how we can improve your financial future. The First National Bank of Westchester, your banking service center.
Sally's Gone, She Left Her Name is an intimate window into a family who have found that their expected roles have started to change. A daughter going away to school, a son who has created a world of his own, and there are issues in this play that, that resonate for all of us, I think. That's part of its great appeal. You really have to see it in order to experience it.
Isn't it time for new office furniture? Visit Rubenstein's Office Plus in Westchester. Rubenstein's Office Plus has the largest office furniture showroom in the Delaware Valley. Our 20,000 square foot showroom has the furniture you're looking for, all priced less than you think. Rubenstein's will help you choose furnishings to complement your current setting or completely design a new office for you. For the largest selection of executive furniture for the home or office, visit Rubenstein's Office Plus, the big yellow building on Market Street in Westchester.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Minuti. Welcome to TSM's Delaware Chester Local News. Here's what's happening tonight. In these last few weeks since the deadly school shootings in Littleton, Colorado, there has been a lot of discussion about what we can do to keep our children and our schools safe. Well, one state representative in Delaware County believes he has the answer. It is not about guns or drugs, but about prayer. Here's more now on that story. About 30 people, led by State Representative Thaddeus Kirkland, marched from the Community Baptist Church to Chester High School, all in the name of prayer. Kirkland said he plans to introduce legislation that would bring prayer back into our public schools. That, he says, is the only way to stop the violence.
We're going to pray the prayer of faith, but we believe that prayer changes things and our children are lacking God in their lives. We're determined that no force that is put up against us will stop us from putting prayer back in our schools and getting our kids back on track.
Today's vigil coincides with National Prayer Day. It is a day for giving praise and thanksgiving, but it's also a day of asking for help. And that's something that many of those who gathered here today say that our schools and our children desperately need.
I've seen over the years how prayer not being in the lives of the children has really put them in a different attitude situation. That spiritual balance has been taken away from them, and they don't know why they do the things they do because of that missing element.
Representative Kirkland's bill would bring clergy of all denominations into public schools, volunteering their time to pray with students who choose to.
Prayer does work.
What makes you believe that?
Because I'm a Christian, and I believe it, because prayer worked in my life.
We know, dear Lord, if children knew about God, yes, they would lean more on God, yes, rather than on guns. Yes.
Lisa Minuti, TSM News, Chester. This afternoon, a two-car accident in Valley Township sent 2 people to the emergency room at Brandywine Hospital. The accident occurred at the intersection of routes 30 and 82 when a Ford pickup and a Pontiac Fiero collided. The driver of the Fiero received minor injuries. The other driver appeared to be uninjured but was taken to the hospital for evaluation. Traffic along Route 82 was backed up for about an hour until both cars were towed away. Police are continuing their investigation to determine the cause of that accident. No names have, as of yet, been released. The Chester County man wanted for a carjacking involving a woman he allegedly met through an internet chat room has been arrested in Potter County, Pennsylvania. 28-year-old Jeffrey Townsley was arrested late yesterday by troopers from the Coudersport State Police Barracks at his home on a warrant from North Coventry Police. Townsley owned several homes and had been on the loose after crashing a car he reportedly stole Sunday night from a 47-year-old Pottstown woman he met over the weekend in an America Online chat room. Now, at the time of his arrest, he was wanted for a burglary in Potter County and 2 more in Butler County, believed to have been committed Tuesday night. Townsley will be taken to Chester County after a hearing on the Butler County charges. A judge in Chester County, drill simulating a gunman invading a local elementary school is canceled. At least for now, part of the decision to postpone the invasion drill is due to the Westchester area school district strike. Now, about 150 support staff employees began picketing Wednesday morning, and there is no telling when that strike will end. The invasion drill, designed 8 months ago by an officer at the West Whiteland Police Department, is a training session for police and personnel, whereby an officer will pose as an intruder in an elementary school.
It's going to be very low key. We don't want to scare the children. The children will be explained. It'll be explained to the children that what we're doing, so they won't be scared, but that they know that this is a practice, and so we all know what we're doing.
Police Chief Ralph Burton says there will be no parents involved in the 2 simulations scheduled at the Exton Elementary School and the Mary House Elementary School.
When we do the simulation, parents will be notified beforehand that the simulation will be going on, and if they choose to take their children out of school that day, that's fine.
The invasion drills were scheduled on May 7th and May 13th. However, no new date has been set. Some people seemingly have all the luck. First, imagine landing a spot on the Wheel of Fortune and then winning. Well, Scott Vassell did. This Westchester hot dog stand man appeared on the Wheel of Fortune, taping all this week in Philadelphia. Vassell says it has been an incredible 3 days.
Right here at the corner at Wally's Wiener World, I've got all my customers and the people driving by screaming and yelling, "Wheel of Fortune, grab a bite, kiss my shoes." It's been overwhelming, very exciting.
Vassell has been on the corner of Market and High Street for 14 years. He loves all the attention and the warmth surrounding his appearance on the show. He won a total of $46,003 plus a Lexus, not to mention over $6,000 in cash. He was certainly pretty excited. Vassell even gave TSM an exclusive rendition of the Wheel of Fortune dance.
How about Alexis?
Alexis! $36,003!
Please stay tuned for TSM weather, followed by your local sports. Delaware and Chester County TSM News returns here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Here, peaceful land of maritime history, ancient civilizations, quiet beaches, and, oh yes, America's first theme park.
So many of the best family destinations in the world are right here in Connecticut.
And you thought Connecticut was just for grown-ups.
Call today for your free 168-page Connecticut Vacation Guide.
All kids have trouble staying within the lines. With some, it could be a sign of a learning disability. Call now to help your child. There's no reason to be held back.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. It's time we said enough is enough. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life, not one more grieving family, not one more.
We're back. TSM News continues with weather and hopefully some good news
That's
for the
right.
weekend.
It's not looking too bad. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it could be worse. Huh, Jim?
It could definitely be worse. If you were down south, it would be worse. We have some rain on the way, and most folks are looking ahead to Mother's Day. Well, the forecast says we may have a few showers passing through TSM land, but some sunshine, too, for Mom's special day. Let's start with the latest readings and see where we are. 62 presently, 75% humidity. It is rising, as is the barometer, up to 30 inches of mercury at the moment. Winds from the southeast. We've already seen the high for today. 65 we had a couple hours ago, the low of 52. Normally we're right around 70, so it's a cool day around our region. Here's what's happening elsewhere around the region. Harrisburg's now gotten down into the 50s. That's at the airport. Of course, they have some rain up that way, a little bit of light rain. 63 in Allentown, 62 for Wilmington and Philadelphia. We have some rain closing in on the middle Atlantic states tonight. Western Pennsylvania has been reporting light rain and drizzle out here in Altoona, Johnstown, as well as Harrisburg Airport a little bit closer to us. The heavier weather, that's all down south. This cold front that we've been watching is now a lot closer to the coast, and it's been causing so many problems over the last 3 days. It raked through Atlanta this morning. Severe storms are now strung in a line from Atlanta right in here, right across central South Carolina and to the coast. Severe thunderstorm watches are now posted for the coastal areas from just north of Wilmington, North Carolina, right in here down to Savannah, Georgia. Some communities in South Carolina now report some roads are underwater as the storms advance. A possible tornado has been showing up on radar near the town of Clawson. That's down here just south of Savannah in Georgia. As the front pushes through, some of the rain will push into Florida, so this system will do some good, pushing some of the rain down into central Florida. Farm fields in southern Georgia are also bone dry, and they'll be getting a ton of rain. They will likely flood with these storms. The storm center is a low-pressure center up over Lake Michigan, and there's cool weather up here, but there's a warm front that jogs across Pennsylvania down into Virginia, down to Chesapeake Bay. Behind the front, 87 degrees right now in Elkins, West Virginia, 80 in Roanoke, Virginia, and you know how cool it is here. What can you do? The rain is on the way. Let's check the national extremes before we get out of the forecast for tonight. The cold spot for tonight, that shows up out in the center of the country. Leadville, Colorado, 7 degrees. The hot spot, 90 degrees. Punta Gorda, Florida. For tonight, we have some showers coming in likely after midnight, a low of 52. Rain when you get moving in the morning and 63. And we'll have off and on shower activity tomorrow with some sun peeking through and nearly 80 degrees tomorrow. Now the 5-day outlook, and we have those thunderstorms, as you can see, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With the humidity so high, you can expect them to pop up just about any time. And for Mom's special day, a 40% chance of rain, and I hope we have some sunshine to make the flowers look beautiful.
Summer-like weather, huh?
Yeah, well,
before it officially begins.
We're getting close to it. We're getting close to it. And in advance, happy Mother's Day. I know you're a mom.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Anything for me? Have a nice weekend. We'll do
In June, we'll wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Sports is next on TSM News. We'll go directly to your neighborhood to find out what's happening there. Stay with us.
Beauty, adventure, drama. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this free art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-764-5522.
Go for a mouthful, go for the fun.
Oh, gopher cake!
Gopher cakes for everyone. Empty the box, they're reload. Eat those gopher cakes till
Exercised lately?
Most Americans don't realize that their household energy use produces twice as much pollution as the family car. Call this toll-free number for simple steps to make your home more energy efficient. It's easy when you know how.
Hello, I'm Jack McCaffrey, and this is TSM Sports. Well, it's all over now for the Westchester women's lacrosse team. A great season, but it ends in the NCAA tournament, a 23-7 loss at Penn State. The Golden Rams, a Division II team, moved up to the Division I tournament, did what they could, but the Nittany Lions much too strong. 7 straight now for Penn State. The Lions move on. They'll visit Princeton on Saturday. Terry Manzola completes a wonderful season with 4 goals for the Golden Rams, who played without injured goalkeeper Heather Vierling. So the Rams finish at 11-4, not a bad season at all, doing what they could against that Division I competition in the tournament. Some better luck yesterday for the Westchester men. The Rams, they're ranked number 8 in Division II. They were too much for New York Tech. Tech was ranked number 4. Jay Gambrill scores a goal. He adds 7 assists. Goalie Rob Johnson makes 38 saves, and he scores a goal too. A couple of Pencrest products coming up big for Westchester. 6 goals for Jeff Pettit, 2 for Matt McCall. So make it Westchester 16, Tech 13. The Rams now 10-5. A little high school lacrosse. The Unionville girls take a key game, 19-8 over Garnet Valley. The Indians go to 7-0 in the Del Val. Beth Protesto scores 7 goals for Unionville. Garnet Valley's Becky Zane, she scores a hat trick. A big game too in that Catholic League. The rivalry. Prendy keeps its firm hold on second place with a 7-5 victory over Cardinal O'Hara. Alicia Tillman, the junior goalie, she's the difference for the Pandas. 17 big saves for Alicia. Let's talk a little baseball, shall we? Pitching the difference. Oxford 2, Octorara 1. That one goes 8 innings. 4 solid relief innings for Tom Weaver in that one. To the Del Val we go, and it was Colin McCann pitching Sun Valley to victory. McCann allows 4 hits. He fans 6, 5 solid innings of work for Colin, and it's Vanguard's 8, Chester 3, Josh Dawson a round tripper for Sun Valley. 150 career wins now for Sun Valley coach Bob Hoffines. What a job Bob has done down there in Aston. Finally, congratulations to the Unionville boys tennis team. The Indians clinch a tie for the Southern Chester County League title with a 7-love decision of Oxford. The Tribe unbeaten, 13-0 in the league. Canada 12-1, still with that shot at a share of the title. The Blue Devils, they topped Devon Prep 7-0 yesterday. I am Jack McCaffrey of the Daily Times for TSM. Get out there and enjoy those games.
Do you know who I am? Am I a P or a D? A Q, perhaps? Or a B? I am dyslexia, and millions of kids struggle with me every time they read. Call now to help your child manage